Stay tuned for an abundance of miracles. Hello and welcome back to Encounters from Beyond the Veil. In today's episode, we're going to have 10 miracles. These are miracles even the skeptics can't debunk. So without further ado, we're going to start with miracle number 10.
Discovered in the Seminole Finance Company building, this mysterious stain resembled the shape of the Virgin Mary. In the first few weeks, over 500,000 visitors paid homage to the image in Clearwater, Florida. By the end of the year, those numbers were well into the millions. Believers thought the Virgin Mary was sending a message to her followers. However, some people thought it was nothing more than corrosion, but they couldn't explain why it resembled the Virgin Mary. Mike Krismanek owned the building and believed it was divine intervention. He turned the stain into a religious shrine. The building was eventually sold to a Catholic charity. The image was present until 2004 when a teenager shot the shrine with a slingshot, damaging it permanently. In 1973, the Roman Catholic Church recognized a miracle in Akita, Japan. Sister Agnes Sasagawa saw visions of the Blessed Virgin Mary in the town of Yuzawadai. It's said that the Virgin Mary had a message for believers. She emphasized the importance of prayer and penance. Sister Agnes also had prophetic visions of persecution in the Catholic Church. Along with the visions, a wooden statue of the Virgin Mary began to weep. This phenomenon was even caught on national television in Japan. In addition to the visions, Sister Agnes also witnessed stigmata on the wooden statue. This statue was said to have wept over 100 occasions. The miracle was also witnessed by other nuns at Yuzawadai as well. They reported that Sister Agnes also displayed signs of stigmata on her hands and feet. Samples of the tears and blood were collected from the statue. Both were determined to be real human tears and blood. The Basilica of Our Lady of the Angels is considered to be a sacred spot. In 1635, a young girl from Kartoga found a small black statue on a rock near a stream. Thinking it was a doll, she took the item home with her. The next day, the statue went missing from the house. The young girl and her mother looked everywhere for it but couldn't find it anywhere. A few days later, the girl returned to the boulder near the stream and there was the little black carved figure. She took it home once more, but yet again the figure went missing, only to be found on the boulder by the stream. This went on for some weeks before the family contacted a local priest. He told the girl that it was a statue of the Virgin Mary and baby Jesus. He then placed it safely inside a box inside the church. Despite being secured in the church, the statue disappeared again, and as before, the statue was found sitting atop the boulder by the stream. This odd series of events was eventually deemed a miracle, and the statue is now on permanent display in the basilica. The statue is kept in a golden box in the church. Pilgrims from all over the world flock to pay homage to this miracle. St. Joseph was born in Cupertino in 1603. He was an absent-minded young boy who was abused by his mother at a young age. It wasn't unusual to find young Joseph wandering the streets in town. He tried his hand at shoemaking and failed at it. Joseph tried to join the Franciscan order, but he was denied. Eventually, the Capuchin order did accept him for a short time. However, after 8 months, they dismissed him. His mother sent him away to be a servant at a Franciscan monastery where he worked in the stables. It's said that around this time, Joseph began to change. He started to pray more and complete more acts of penance. The Franciscan order finally allowed him to study to be a priest. After he was ordained, many people began to witness miracles around the young priest. It's said that he would levitate during Mass or prayers. The first occurrence happened in 1630 during the feast of St. Francis of Assisi. One such incident even occurred in front of Pope Urban VIII. It's alleged he levitated over 70 times before his death in 1663. He was canonized in 1767. Amusingly, St. Joseph is the patron saint of astronauts and pilots. Clelia Barbieri was born to a poor family in Bologna in 1847. When her father died, her mother moved the family to a local church. Barbieri began to reflect on her religious education and became pious in her young age. In 1861, she joined the Workers of Christian Catechism as an assistant teacher. Barbieri was in charge of the young girl's doctrine. Over the years, while teaching, she rejected various marriage offers in favour of serving God. The Suore Minami dell'Adolerata was found by her at the age of 24. The order would help both the poor and sick. She died in 1870 of tuberculosis after making a promise to never abandon her parishioners. It was after her death when strange things began to occur. Exactly 1 year after her death, an unusual voice was heard singing with the choir. Witnesses said it was unlike anything they had ever heard. The devout believed it was Barbieri's voice singing along with her congregation. Dozens of people said they heard her voice in churches and homes that she had visited. On most occasions, she was heard reciting songs and passages from the Bible. Pope Gregory I was conducting a Holy Mass in the year 598 when a woman began to laugh during communion. Disturbed by the laughter, Pope Gregory inquired as to what the matter was. The woman said she couldn't believe the bread was Christ since she baked it herself. Pope Gregory was disturbed by the woman's lack of faith and prayed for a sign that God would help enlighten her with the truth. Moments later, the sacramental bread turned into a lump of bleeding flesh. It said that the doubting woman was so moved by the bizarre event she fell to her knees and wept. However, the story of this strange miracle has changed throughout the years. Some say a full-bodied apparition of Jesus Christ appeared before the altar. Even the identity of the doubter changes from story to story. However, there are relics of this miracle. In Annex, Germany, the Holy Communion bread is housed in a special container in the church. Thousands of devout believers flock to this relic every year. On October 13, 1917, an event occurred that has baffled scientists, skeptics and historians, while simultaneously thrilling and uplifting true believers. On this day, thousands of people would witness what they would consider a miracle. The witnesses weren't just the faithful. They included reporters, scientists and skeptics, many who bore witness to the same activity that the faithful saw. It all began in May 1917 when 3 shepherd children, Lucia, Jacinta and Francisco, were visited by a vision of the Virgin Mary. Only the oldest child, Lucia, could actually hear the Virgin speak, and Mary informed Lucia that she would appear at the same time on the 13th of each month for the next 6 months. The children informed their parents and soon word had spread to villagers who passed on the news to others. Fatima shortly became host to pilgrims and the curious on the 13th of each month. Visitors listened raptly as Lucia repeated the messages that the Virgin delivered to her. It was the Virgin Mary's final visit that was the most astounding. Lucia claimed that the Virgin had informed her that on her final visit she would produce a miracle for all to witness. At around noon on October 13, 1917, thousands of people gathered to await the miracle. A gentle rain had fallen all morning and the skies were still heavy with clouds. Lucia received her final prophecy from the Virgin Mary, who then lifted her hands to the sky. Suddenly the clouds parted and the crowd witnessed what appeared to be the sun spiraling around in the sky, while radiating vibrant colours. At first the crowd was thrilled with the spectacle, but when it seemed as if the sun was plummeting to earth, they grew frightened, with many kneeling in the mud to pray for mercy. Eventually the sun returned to its rightful place, leaving the crowd of onlookers stunned. According to news reports, the event lasted approximately 10 minutes, but to some it seemed much longer. There has been much speculation about what really happened that day. Many believed that it was a legitimate miracle given to the people in order to restore their faith. Others believed that it was a type of mass hysteria or shared hypnosis. Some experts believe that because different people in the crowd had experiences unique to their own perception, with some individuals seeing nothing at all, that the explanation is purely psychological. Regardless, the church officially recognized the miracle of the sun as a legitimate miracle on October 13, 1930. Miracles don't necessarily mean curing the blind or making severe illnesses disappear. It's said that Willard Fuller could perform dental miracles. Born in Grand Parish, Louisiana, Fuller attended the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary. When he graduated in 1946, he went on to form his own ministry called the Lively Stones World Healing Fellowship. It's alleged that he could turn dental fillings from silver to gold. People even reported that their teeth were straightened, or some teeth even grew back. Some people doubt that any of this actually happened. Skeptics claim that Fuller was a skilled magician and performed a sleight of hand on his believers. One appearance of a gold tooth was thought to be nothing more than a tobacco stain. Fuller was convicted of fraud in Australia for practicing without a dental license. However, believers are still certain that Willard Fuller performed miraculous dental cures. Martin de Perez was born on December 9, 1579 in Lima, Peru. He was the illegitimate son of an African slave and a Spanish nobleman. Martin's father abandoned the family when he was young, and as he grew up he experienced ridicule for being mixed race. Martin was even denied entrance into the priesthood because of his ancestry. Eventually, Juan de Lorenzana allowed Martin to take his vows with the Third Order of St. Dominic. During his time with the order, many miracles were said to have taken place. Some people witnessed him levitate while he prayed. It's alleged that Martin had the ability to talk to animals and cure the sick. Some say he could heal the infirmed with a simple glass of water. One man was cured of ulcers by drinking the offered cup. It's said that Martin had a deep desire to be a missionary, but he never left his home country. People in faraway places claim to have been visited by Martin. He was spotted in Africa, Mexico, and Japan, comforting those in need. Martin died in 1639 in Lima. He was canonized in 1962 by Pope John XXIII. Before we get to that number one spot and take a look at a bizarre miracle in France, remember to hit that red subscribe button and turn on channel notifications. That way you'll be completely up to date with all our latest content. The miracle of Bernadette Soubirous is one of the most bizarre. She was born in Lourdes, France in January 7, 1844. Like most families of the same time, she was very poor. Her first religious experience came in 1858 when she was just 14 years old, when she saw a vision of a woman near the local grotto that she believed was the Virgin Mary. The Roman Catholic Church was suspicious of the event and denied that she saw the Virgin Mary. Over the course of the following year, it's alleged that she had as many as 18 different visions. The last vision gave her information about a river with the power to heal. People from her village soon began to believe her stories. However, the publicity was too much for the young girl. She entered the convent of the Sisters of Charity and Christian Instruction in Nevers, France. Bernadette suffered from many illnesses in her life, but she never went to the Holy River for assistance. She eventually succumbed to tuberculosis on April 18, 1879. Her body was exhumed 31 years later by the Bishop of Gathery of Nevers. The doctors and religious officials were stunned. She looked the same as she did when they buried her. Her body wasn't embalmed, yet there was no signs of decay. She looked as if she had just fallen asleep. She was exhumed for the second time in 1919 and once again was in the same condition as the last time her casket was opened. The church finally decided to put her to rest in 1925. Her body now lies in a gold and crystal case in the chapel of St. Bernadette in Nevers, France.
Wow, now that's quite a list of miracles. One side note, however, in the miracle of the sun at Fatima, after the miracle of the sun was over, and after the heavy rain, everyone's clothes as well as the ground were completely dry. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe so you never miss another. Until next time, I'm Brad Polk for Encounters from Beyond the Veil.